Hey everybody, welcome back to Darth Snoogan's Toy Reviews. Today I want to do a quick follow-up to the previous video where we talked about the 0 Point Edition Snake Eyes. Now during that video I didn't really talk about the other figures much because I guess I was just so disappointed with that figure I couldn't even think about the others. But there is some things we should talk about with these other figures, so I thought I would go through some of the articulation, some of the accessories, and give you a better look at those figures as well. We will start with our retail release from 2020. This is actually a pretty good figure. Aside from a little bit of the loose issues with some of the joints, like you can see this arm is super loose, but it looks nice. All in all, that's a pretty solid figure, and it came with quite a few accessories. Let's see, here's his package. Now, I don't know what the names of all these weapons are. I haven't the slightest clue, and I know with some of these original classified releases, they were very techno. So we got this gun, and I wish they gave us at least a description for it. We got his Morningstar katana, the sheath that came with it, and that actually attaches to the backpack with the little peg hoe, which is nice, nice little feature there. And then of course you have the backpack. So unlike that ridiculous 0 Point Edition, you can actually pull his pistol from the holster, as well as the silencer that you can add to the pistol. It's also held in here, so you can just press it out. And you can take it, I'm hoping I'm getting all this on camera. Okay, yeah. And you can attach it right to the pistol. Boom. He also has his knife. And he has, he's got his little strap with the grenades on it. He does have a belt. And then of course he has those, he's got the holster and then the little sheath for his knife. The only thing that would have made this figure better for me would have been if it had the silver visor. But that's a nice figure. It's, it's a great display piece, which honestly most of the G.I. Joe classified figures, they're good for display, they're good for posing, and if you're into toy photography, that's what they're good for. At the price point these things are at now, you don't want to give these to a 6-year-old and have them destroy it in 5 minutes, because they're not going to hold up to that kind of stress. Alright, so we'll jump over here and take a look at our movie version, which quite possibly one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Certainly the worst G.I. Joe incarnation we've seen as well. The figure itself, it's not terrible. It's just boring. There's not a lot. There's not a lot going on as far as the sculpting. They went with this very, very sleek bodysuit. If you've seen the movie, it's more like I don't really know how to explain it. It makes me think more of like a bodysuit, like someone would ride on a motorcycle, which kind of what it goes with in the movie. If you have seen the movie, then you also know that the issue with the helmet that is unacceptable. He comes with 2 blades, as well as his Morningstar katana and sheath that will go into the peg hole on his back. Let's get the little knives out of his hand. Alright, so the other thing that this figure came with was a different head. which, if anything says Snake Eyes, it's an unmasked face, right? Ugh. So, yeah, they gave us the face sculpt for the actor Henry Golding, and it's a nice face sculpt, and he's perfectly fine in the movie. I have no issues with that, other than the fact that they're showing his face. So I guess, I mean, to each his own. If you like the movie, that's fine. I thought it was terrible. I will not be displaying that head. I will be using it, or I'll be using the motorcycle helmet, which is essentially what it is in the movie. Yeah, so this one has his articulation it's pretty much like the other classified figures, although the figure itself just feels a little smaller. Let's see, you got the rotation at the elbows, or at the bicep. You just got standard elbow, not a double. You got rotation on the wrists. He does have ab crunch. And I'll say that the ab crunch on this figure actually is better than some of the regular classified figures. Let's see. You got regular knee. You got the pivot on the foot. You do have rotation on the thigh. There's not one on the ankle. You just have the pivot on the foot there. So like I said, it's not a terrible figure. It's just kind of boring. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense when we already had, you know, the regular standard release Snake Eyes, which is a much better figure. So, the next one we have, and we'll look at him a little bit here, is our Alpha Commando Snake Eyes that came with Timber. Now, Timber was the best part of this, because Timber's got full articulation. You get all the legs, you got all that rotation and pivot at the paws, which is very cool. You got rotation at the head. You even have some rotation at the hip on this. Very, very cool version of Timber. Such an upgrade to that vintage Timber that was just a solid piece of plastic. So the other cool thing is you get two heads with Timber. Now, out of the box, it has this head sculpt, but most people would probably prefer to display that one, which is really cool. Snake Eyes himself comes with several guns. We got this one, and this one, and then you also have the classic Uzi, which is common to Snake Eyes. He also has his pistol, and he has that removable silencer, just like on the other version. Although it is a different gun. So here's the Alpha Commando version, and then we'll compare it to the retail release version. As you can see, they are different guns. Alright, and then he also has a big blade. Now this is a much bigger blade than the one that comes with that retail release. So he's got this vest. It's not really removable. I mean, you could, if you wanted to break this thing down, I'm sure you could get it off. But rotation at the bicep. He has the double jointed elbows. Rotation on the wrists. Bend at the knees. And he has the double jointed knee. So this is a much better figure as far as articulation than that movie version. Alright, so we're going to get some measurements on these guys. I've got them lined up side by side, and we'll see where they come in at height-wise. We'll start with our retail release. He is just a hair over 6 inches tall. Our Alpha Commando, pretty much the same. And our movie Snake Eyes, he is right on 6 inches. So he's going to be just a hair shorter than the other two guys. Now our Timber, if you measure him from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail, he's actually 6 inches long, which is pretty neat. He is in scale with the Snake Eyes figures. Alright, so that's all I'm going to cover today. I just wanted to come back and finish up and talk about the actual other releases aside from that Fortnite figure. Sound off in the comments. Let me know which one is your favorite. Or are you not a fan of the Classified series? Are you an O-ring fan? Do you prefer the vintage, vintage Snake Eyes? Let me know your thoughts. Please take a moment and hit the like. If this is for you, if you like the content that I'm putting together, hit the subscribe button. Try to put out as much as I can. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.